hold on. Does everybody know this book? Yes.
Yes, just finish it.
Did you? You read it?
Yeah,
What?
just finish it.
Fantastic. I'm love. You read the whole thing?
Yep.
Wow. All right. That's awesome. But I
I'm
want to make sure
actually reading now the blue one, the Millionaire Investor.
the investor one.
Yes.
Awesome. Did you read that yet?
No, I'm going to start that one today.
I would encourage you, after you read that one, the next one you should read is the Shift book. And that was written, called The Shift, SHIFT. And that was written and intended for the, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, the shift that happened, nationwide in the real estate market. Actually, means shifting markets, going up, going down, changing. The reason I say to read that is, I think, most people that are experienced in real estate will say that eventually this madness of prices going up and just a crazy market will end, and it will shift. And the agents that have a business and that have a systematic way of approaching it, in fact, the agents that implement, if not all of the models that we have in this book, some of them, those are the ones that will survive that. And with that said, does everybody know what was 4 models? The MREA 2 has 5 models. Does anybody know what at least the 4 are, or the 5? You can shout it out. We're on the screen. Yeah, Matt, what are they? Matt's got to know. Well, 2 are up there. Don't worry about the 5th. Just do the 4th. Economic. Yep, economic. Budget model, lead generation model. And expansion model is now the 5th model, which I'll be honest, I learned today. I didn't know they were calling it a 5th model, but it is. Expansion is the 5th model, another model. It's the organizational model.
Organizational model. There it is.
Yes, sir. Was that Alex?
Yahtzee.
You're the man. Yahtzee. Awesome. I know you've been looking into, talking about maybe growing your team and stuff. So yes. And just to give you a brief overview of the other ones, economic model is basically how much do you want to make and how many houses do I have to sell? What's my average sales price I'm going to shoot for that year when you do your goal? And what's your conversion rate? If you say, well, I have to sell, 30 listings a year and have 30 buyer closings a year, unless you are the best realtor in the world and you have 100% conversion, you want to see what your conversion rate is. If I go on 10 listing appointments, am I getting 7? Am I getting 6? I'm getting 8. So these are all things in an economic model. So the economic model is based off the income and how do you get to that bottom line income? And you work those numbers backwards. Start with the end in mind. How much I want to make? What's my average sales price? How many units do I have to do? What's my conversion? My average commission, 2.5, 3%. And then figure out how many, you get it all the way down to the minute point of how many dials do I have to make in order to get the appointments, dials to contacts to appointments, your conversion of listings taken or to a buyer written, to a closed unit, to dollars. Understand?
Your conversions are constantly changing now.
It could, yeah, it could definitely. I mean, in different markets, it could change.
Yeah.
It could, you're really, if you're doing it right, your conversions of like listing appointment to listing taken should go up. If the better you get your script and your listing presentation down, but it also could change with the market. Could change with the market. Yeah. And then your organizational model. If you are one agent, no team, no admin, no buyer's agent, your organizational model will pretty much look like a circle with your name in it. And you are everything. You are the agent, you are the administrator, you are the picture taker, you are the sign person, you're everything. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Because when you start going outwards, if you follow this model, what would be your first hire? An organizational model. And some sort of admin, administrative help.
Full-time admin.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Alex. Full-time admin. And I'll just do one more. What's your second hire in this? Exactly. Another admin. A lot of agents, and I did it myself plenty of times in the past. Trust me, I did it a lot. I've learned a lot because I failed a lot. Your second hire should be an admin, some sort of administrative help. If you are good at converting leads on the phone, if you are good at converting appointments to listings and contracts written, you just want to flood your economic model, I mean, your lead generation model, so you can't handle anymore. And then you can have administrative support to take everything off your plate except contacts, appointments, and contracts written. So, any questions on those? Kind of just touch on the economic model and the organizational model because we went over those a couple weeks ago. And quite honestly, I want to get back to just teaching the models that work. So I don't know if you have any slides, anything else. So this is basically the 4 models. There's now a 5th, like Matt and I were talking about. It's the expansion, ESO, expansion systems operations, I think it's called. But basically, that means if you've nailed your team in your current location, you go to a different city and do it again. Somebody want to say something? No. Okay, good.
You said there's a 6th model?
5th, I'm sorry, 5th.
Oh,
That's
that's
5. They said it. I was on a call today, actually. We were on a leadership call. It was a really good call with what's his name? Who's the guy, trainer?
Oh,
He's great. I love
Gene
him.
Rivers.
Gene Rivers. Oh, he's awesome. I love Gene Rivers.
and Linda McKissick was on there.
Linda
too.
McKissick is always great. Yeah,
She comes here next Friday.
she's coming here, right? You
Yeah.
booked her for profit share.
Mhm.
You guys hear that? Linda McKissick is here next Friday.
Yep.
1 o'clock.
11.
11 o'clock. Same this time. Well, 11 o'clock. Same day, week from now. Linda McKissick. If you don't know who Linda McKissick is, she is a rock star coach, a maps coach, and she is one of the top profit share earners in the company. I don't know what she makes. Probably
$1
$1 million a year in
Over
profit
$1
share.
million in profit
It's
share.
over $1 million a year in profit share. So she doesn't have to work anymore. She doesn't have to sell anymore. She does this because she loves what she does. And this is the economic or the budget model.
Sorry. hold on. 2 seconds. This is starting.
Get clear on the budget. I didn't look at anything she had here because I really spitball when I train. So when you in a budget in a true budget model, I'm trying to look at the screen and look at this as well. So in a true budget model, you'll sometimes see something that's called, and it's on the screen right now. They can see this, right?
Mhm.
On the top right. Sorry, go ahead. There's something called cost of sales. Does everybody understand what that is in a budget? A lot of times people get thrown off by that. If you didn't know, Keller Williams is an open book company. So if you ever want to look at our P&L, our income statement, or our balance sheet for our Keller Williams Realty Land Shore, you're welcome to. It's online actually on KW.com. But you'll see our cost of sales for Keller Williams Realty Atlantic Shore is what we pay you, the agents. It's also what we pay in royalty to the region and the KWRI. We don't keep any of the 6%. The only money made for Keller Williams Realty Atlantic Shore is the cap dollars. Everything else is a pass through. So when you pay your cap, when you pay your royalty, or you pay your buyer's agent or listing agent's commissions, that is called, as we consider, cost of sales. It's something that a lot of different businesses may not have, in the same regard. I like, this was on the class. Did you steal this from the class today? I love it. I love it. He was talking about this, and Gene Rivers is very, very disciplined on this. Left side of the screen, it says disciplines of the budget model. Lead with revenue. What do you think, Flamur? What do you think that means? Lead with revenue.
Means red light, green light. Make sure your money's coming in before you spend it.
So actually, you went in number 2, but that's perfect. Tell me what that red light, green light means to you. How do you interpret that?
It kind of, people kind of jump into things, or you'll get, like, once you do a little bit of business, you'll get sales calls from lead genning companies, or everything under the book, and you kind of want to wait and see how it is. So spend a little money, test out a different lead gen source, and if it makes sense, then continue on or put more money into it.
Gotcha. So let me ask you, I mean, buying leads is a little unique, but like, I don't know, I think of something else. Like, let's say it's just a cool website or something that somebody wants you to get on there, and like an ad on a website or something, a banner ad, not something that generates per lead. Like, how long would you give something that you would, something you would add to your business as a cost? How long would you keep it for before you would get rid of it, you think?
I would
I'm
give
asking your
anything,
opinion.
especially
There's no
online.
great answer.
Yeah, I would give it at least 3 to 6 months before I can make a good judgment call on it. I know a lot of them try to sign you up for a 1 year or 2 year contract, but if you get them down, even if you have to pay a little bit more per month or upfront, if you could get out sooner, just because you don't know if this will generate any business. And then you could renegotiate in 6 months once you find out how effective it is.
Awesome. Thank you, Flamer. That's
Shawn,
basically, yeah, yeah.
I think a little bit of that too has to do with what is the point of what you're paying for. So for me, like there's some things I pay for brand awareness that I'm not calculating a direct ROI the same way I would a lead gen, like a direct advertisement, like a B2C advertisement versus something like, what's the ROI of, like retargeting Facebook ads back to your friend's friends. It's like, I don't know because they call me and they're like, oh, hey, Alex, you know what I mean? Like I'm Kyle's friend and I've been seeing you online for a few years. Like figuring out where the ROI was spent or where they saw me, I think it's a bit of a mixture across the board.
No, I agree. And I think, would you say like a billboard would be something like that? It's not something you can,
Yeah,
if you have an
yeah.
800 number with a code on the billboard, it's hard to calculate the ROI on that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, what exactly, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. Or
Yeah,
whatever
no.
other form of
So,
advertisement.
yeah, and so the red light, green light, you're right. Something like that, something you can't track the return on. It's hard to, but here's the thing, the next thing's gonna be stick to the budget. Beginning of the year, it should be like, let's say September, October of this year, you should be updating or doing your budget for 2022. So if you have the expendable funds to do something that might not have a direct ROI that you can track, then you've allotted that money, and that's why the next one stick to your budget. So if you say, well, I'm gonna spend, I don't know, $2,500 on a billboard for 2022, and I won't be able to track the exact ROI or if I got any business from it, then as long as it's in your budget and it's not gonna, that's not gonna affect your business negatively or especially your family negatively, you go for it. The red light, green light is more so something you can track. And like I'll make an example of hiring somebody to your team. I hire an administrative salary position. So there's also something called slow to hire, quick to fire. I don't know if you guys know, we have Keller Williams has a hiring system, career visioning. So we have it's a process. It could take, depends how quick you do it. It could take 30 days. It could take 90 days. You want to go through that process, make sure you're hiring the right person. However, along with that process, we have something called a 30, 60, 90. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. You're giving somebody a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day review period to see if they're a good fit for you and if you're a good fit for them. And if if you don't believe that by 30 days or 60 days or even 90 days, they're not a good fit and they're not going to sell to the level that you need of production, with slow to hire and quick to fire. Same thing, I think.
Our region is actually doing career visioning coming up, and Stephanie put the link to register for that in the chat.
Oh, fantastic.
So if anybody wants to attend that, I did career visioning a couple weeks ago. It's a great class. It really makes you think about things a little bit deeper than you typically would.
Stephanie told me I shouldn't do that at any cost.
Really?
What?
Wow.
I've been begging you to take it.
I was gonna say, I was going, that's not the correct.
Stephanie's like barely awake, and she was like, "No, I didn't say that."
Well, she just got surgery. She might be on drugs, you know what I mean? She might go to the Loopy Lounge,
She can never be too high to know that she didn't tell me to do that.
Exactly. So when it used to be called Recruit Select, and it's the same thing as Career Vision, they just came up with a Keller Williams model of it. Recruit Select was more of a third-party company, and Gary Keller wrote his own. But when we had Recruit Select, Gary used to say, if you have even the thought of building a business that's going to have other people except you in it, you need to take Recruit Select 10 times. So I literally took Recruit Select, I'm going to say 6 or 7 times. I've taken Career Visioning probably 2 or 3 times. If you have any idea, any thought, even a little bit of thought, it could be 5 years from now, of hiring employees at any point in your career for any kind of business, go to Recruit Select. You know, I'll tell the story real quick. I mean, I've tried to tell it a million times to other people, but I hired 240 people at Tropicana when I was 21, 22 to like 26. And Tropicana is a big casino, a big company. You would think they would have a hiring process. And basically their hiring process, if you could pass a drug test, you got hired. And they had no hiring process and they had no training process. But they asked me literally to build a somewhat hiring process and a training process. When I came to Keller Williams and they had this as of how a system on how to hire people and how to train people, I was blown away because I was thinking, wow, this billion-dollar company didn't have anything like that. You guys have it all mapped out. It is literally a step-by-step process. Follow it, it will definitely help you. However, going back to that red light, green light, it's got to be business. If they're just not hitting your standards, not helping you move your business forward, you have to cut it off. And the last thing I'll make an example of is like Kim was saying about leads, buying leads. And leads are something you have to give it time to, especially internet leads. You have to give it at least 6 months. In fact, for $60 every 6 months for 10 leads, and you've gotten one out of it, Kim. I mean, that's incredible. So, you know, obviously that's a green light for me. I would do that all day, every day. But if you have, you know, there's people that spend thousands. You know, we were spending $5,000 a month at one point on internet leads. And if you do that for 6 months, 9 months, and you're not getting the conversion, whether it's the agents or the leads, you got to cut it off. Get into a rhythm. Who's on there? Who else can I pick on? Stephanie, what do you think? What do you think get into a rhythm means, or what did Gene describe it as?
I mean, I think it means you have to do this every month. You can't just sit
Oh,
down once a year and do red light, green light. You have to do it every month, and review everything, because like you said, you never know when something's gonna stop working.
Exactly. Love it. So you're saying it's a good idea to review your expenses monthly or
We do. Yes.
routinely or in a rhythm,
Yes.
right? And
Yep.
if you notice, like I was thinking, if we notice as a market center that something's working well, we continue it. If we notice something's not working well that we're paying for, we slowly get rid of it, right?
Correct.
If you have the same expenses every month and you're not constantly signing on to this, signing on to that, because as agents, if you're a high D or a high I personality as an agent, every shiny object looks really cool. You tend to just start buying stuff. When I was in a class, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, and somebody said, if you have a big enough team and you don't know what you're paying for, just make it a routine, a rhythm that you shut your debit or credit card down, cut it off every 6 months. And when people start calling, then you realize what you pay for. And I used to think, I was like, that's crazy. How could you not get paid for it? Well, now every 6 months I shut my card off. It's just so, and I don't like shiny objects, but there are tools you need. Yeah. That's the same. If you get some sort of tool, it's kind of weird to go back and forth there. If you get some sort of tool like Mojo, like we have Mojo and RedX, and Olga's probably listening saying, yeah, right. You're not gonna, we have to cancel one of them. We're not using both of them. We have RedX and Mojo. I pay, I don't know, $150 a month each for each of them. I'm not using them. So if you get something and it works, but you're not using it to the fullest, get rid of it. Right? All right. Let's go down to see what's in our. Do you have the rest of this or no? Is that
No, that's it.
okay. All right. Alex, would you mind sharing some expenses that you have on your in your real estate business that might be like not the norm?
It might be not the norm.
Well, I mean, if you want to share anything you have, really, but
I mean, I would mail out my entire email.
I appreciate that. That'd be awesome. I mean, if you don't mind sharing what your yearly or monthly budget is for your real estate business, I'd love to hear it. I'm sure you have a very successful business, so I'd love to hear it too.
Probably very successful. Probably closer to say about 3,700 a month if you break it out monthly.
Okay.
There's a lot of annual expenses in there.
Gotcha. That's fine. 3,700 a month.
Yeah.
Is that not including what you pay the market center?
That's
Cap
not
and royalty?
included. That's
Not
just
including, above and
roll.
beyond,
That's, yeah.
Gotcha.
That's beyond that.
$50 a month in there,
No,
insurance?
no.
Okay,
because
so that's
everything
above and
outside
beyond.
of what you
Okay, I'm sorry, I was curious. Okay, would you mind sharing what that
Of
is?
course. I'm gonna drop the Z word.
Okay.
So, and this is the way I look at that, right?
Mhm.
Zillow.
the Z word.
You're gonna get a better dollar for dollar out of realtor.com, and there's not a question. There's better sites will give you better dollar. Hey,
Really?
a few years ago, I received Best Zillow, which is top 1%.
Mhm.
And like I said, the non-calculatable ROI is the amount of people have called me direct off the phone because they saw my profile on the website with that distinguish.
Gotcha.
So that distinction is mostly what I pay for because the leads are kind of like, so a lot of that, the little money I account to be a sunk cost in order to maintain the online presence, which
Okay.
I think is serving me in other ways.
Okay.
Um,
What is that? I'm confused. So that was an award you received
correct.
from
So-
Zillow.
So based on your performance from your Zillow leads you received,
Uh-huh.
I was awarded with what's called Best of Zillow, so that's best customer reviews based on Zillow leads.
Right.
And I rank within the top 1%.
Because you're very successful.
Well, yeah, but it comes with a banner and like a
Oh,
whole thing.
and you have to continue to pay for it to keep it
Correct,
there?
you have to be
Gotcha.
a premier agent, which I get.
You
the
are
leads,
though.
and-
You are.
And I got 200% ROI. Like, it's not that.
I know you do. No, it's a good return.
But at the same time, my name shows up when people are looking because you have to look at, I'm a firm believer in meeting the customer with where they're at.
Mhm.
So I have the Brigantine Golf Course. I own the front 9 holes is the only advertisement.
Okay.
I in no way am waiting for an ROI to come back on that. I'm not
Right.
saying that this is gonna happen or this is not gonna happen. I'm gonna continue this because I get a lead. And I'm not calculating the commission based off of that return, because
Right.
it's like the billboard cost. It's just getting your name out there.
Right.
Um,
There's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, what I say for a new agent to get a billboard, no. But I don't think it's a bad thing when you're doing fairly well and you have kind of a following of a database and you have a good online presence or both. To me, it's like billboards or some sort of print advertising where there's not a huge ROI
Mhm.
per deal, let's say. I think it's reinforcement.
and you have,
Is
that's
what it
exactly
is.
what it is.
It's
So-
validation.
So I would still say 80% of my leads come from sphere of influence in one way or another.
Oh, good.
Whether that's 1 or 2
80%.
steps of separation.
Okay. Closings or leads?
All the
Okay,
for
gotcha.
sure.
All right, cool.
Um,
That's great.
But so a lot of that is how to put yourself back in front of those people.
Mhm.
So like as a new agent, I didn't have the money to do that. Like I
Right.
didn't have the money. So a lot of that was building an online presence, and what that looks like is sweat equity. That means going live on Facebook, doing walkthroughs 3 days a week. If you guys go through my Facebook, the Agent Hufford history, you're gonna see weekend after weekend of being in the open houses.
Open
and,
houses.
like, go through your friends making fun of you that you're always on, and they're gonna make fun of you, and they're gonna make, you tripped up the stairs on the video, which happens when you're live, and shit
That
happens.
makes it real though.
And then you have videos and retarget them back for a higher ROI back to people that have watched your videos in the past.
Gotcha.
So it's growing the exposure, and then once you get to a certain point, like your business,
Mhm.
needing a direct ROI attached to every dollar,
Mhm.
because presence becomes more important.
Right.
Um,
Oh, okay.
so if for me, like, looking at the cost expenses, I would have to break out that.
You mean the cost of
The,
sales?
yeah,
Or-
the Keller stuff, because
Oh, yeah.
I take that out before expense column. I consider
That's fine,
that
yeah,
as
it's-
like COGS
Mhm.
coming out of the income.
Gotcha.
So other than that, I mean, it's a lot of smaller stuff. There's a lot of stuff costs in there.
So you have a couple tools, like a couple other tools you use for advertising or real estate?
Yeah,
In
I
that
used to.
3,700? Gotcha.
Keller saved me $400 a month worth of software.
Awesome. What were you able to get rid of to do that?
The CRM for
Gotcha. What was that
two,
costing?
the design program.
Okay, yeah. For
Um,
for mailers and
Yeah,
emails,
so I had the
flyers?
full Adobe suite. I had Lions Desk, which was CRM.
Oh, I had that,
was
okay.
down before that. But I love Command.
Yeah. Oh, good. Awesome.
And just finding outside help, you know what I mean? Like you start unloading things, you get that part-time assistant or what really should be full-time assistant if you listen.
Start part-time is fine, yeah, I mean.
No, but my friend Stephanie's been telling me for a long time I need to.
Oh, Stephanie who?
Yeah, my friend.
Okay.
But so like you look at the cost of doing business and it's like, what's in there as well is just like, it's dumb stuff that you don't think of, like the laptop and the software and the Adobe
Right.
Creator and kind of calculate all that, and that's, you know, the follow-up
that's
stuff with
cool.
friends, or that's the postage, emailing past clients, and that's like, there's a lot of some stuff in there that we don't talk about that allows the sphere of influence to continue to be
Right.
where I get a majority of my business from, but a lot of that doesn't.
Yeah.
Mail out at least 200 postcards every time I sell something or list something in the neighborhood. Like, so I gotta pay the design girl to design that because I don't do it anymore. Because,
I'm listening to you.
I got fat and lazy.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't do that anymore. So the design girl does, and it gets mailed out. You know what I mean? Like, so those are the things that you kind of lose, I think, in the budget. You know what I mean? Or you overspend in the budget.
Gotcha.
And you can quickly count up a few extra $1,000 a year worth of expenses.
Would you
which is
say-
a small thing?
Right. Would you say if you took your cost of sales and your expenses, what percentage of your total GCI you think that would be? I know you're a numbers guy, so you might know it off the top of your head, but or even your
I can give
expenses.
you almost any number. Yeah.
Okay, so that'd be your expenses minus what you pay, you know, Keller and that kind of stuff we were saying. What percentage does that take of your GCI, your total income? You know,
87.
is how much it costs you?
No,
Oh.
so 13%.
It costs is your expenses. So 13% is what it costs to run your business. You spend 13%. If you're, you know, $100,000, you spend 13,000.
Mine
On
is
expenses.
That stuff
Not
last
including
year.
that.
No. And I'm pretty black when anybody on this call, you're allowed to approach me. I'll give you that log in my QuickBooks. Probably over the last year when you take out taxes,
Mhm.
which technically.
Yeah, not including taxes. You can. Though.
I'll probably spend 45,000 this year, and in the last 12 months, I've made 340,000.
Fantastic.
So I'm guessing about that a little over 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like 13 or something like that, maybe.
But a lot of that's experimental. I mean, there's some things that some costs that we do, and then
Some things you might not even need. Right.
So I spent $2,000 last year on a retargeting company to retarget dead leads,
Right.
and they've given me nothing. So I got jammed for about 2K.
Mhm.
Happened to me after
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing. I really do. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to get to some of these numbers too. And that's why I asked you that. So basically, if you added, say, 47,000.
Oh yeah, that's
47?
20. That's what 2021 probably come out to.
Gotcha. So if you added 25,000 to that, you're at 5767. What do you have? 73,000 or something like that. 72,000.
Yeah.
Say 75,000 for your cost of sales and expenses, and you've made how much? You said.
So
In the last 12 months.
We'll say for the year we'll just.
Awesome. Just a little bit. Not successful. Just busted.
It's fine. I still.
So that's like
I
18%.
still don't know why I'm here. I feel like it was on accident.
Here today?
No.
Oh, in the company? Everything's meant to be. Oh, he said that as well. When he first came over, I don't know if you don't know, when he came over, he was on about 3 million.
3.7.
Yeah, 3.7. Only showing about half because you were on a team with Mark, but we knew what it really was. And now, what are you going to do in 2021?
I'm at 8.7 this year. So
Closed and pending by the end of June or something. So
8.7
so you figure 16, another 5 million, 17, maybe 17, 18 million.
I hope to clear.
He's gonna do 20.
Exactly, because your goal is to beat.
I'm not going to do this.
Your goal is to beat somebody, right? You'd be up.
I would like to be flat.
Right, exactly. Which is
That
where
would be on
I won't
my
mention any
mind.
names, but the two people we're talking about, that's what you need to be. 2025, right?
Yeah.
What's platinum? 25 or 20? Okay. I
I
made it
mean,
once or
we don't know
twice,
what
yeah.
2021 is.
I think they'll keep it. I think they'll keep it that way. But just the reason I was asking them that, if you don't know already, listen, for those of you who have not read the Red Book, you need to read the Red Book. Right? And if you don't want to read the whole thing, don't. Start on page 130, 129. Start on page 129 of this Red Book and just read one model. Start there, go from there.
We do have a PDF copy. If you need a copy, just email me.
Yes,
Or that's an
exactly.
expense you can write off into your business.
Ah, exactly. Cost of sales of your GCI, and everybody knows what GCI is, right? Gross commission income. That's the check you get from the title company. Add them all up for your year. That's your GCI. Of that yearly GCI, your cost of sales, what you pay in cap, royalty, and anything you pay the agents on your team, if you have any, is your cost of sales. But your cost of sales should be 30% or less. Expenses like what Alex just was willing to share with you guys, 30%, and your net income being 40%. If you have a team, it might vary a little bit, but it should be about that. The book tells us that. And if you're running at a 30%, I'm sorry, you're running at a 40% ROI, you are running at a very high percentage ROI for a business. Most businesses run between 20 and 40%. I'm going to venture to say your bigger businesses, I'm going to take a stab, like your Walmarts and Targets, things like that, they run at a lower percentage, but you're talking about a very, very, very large number. So you're running like he is. What I'm doing with the cost of sales at 20%, but the cost of sales on that, it's amazing. That's a huge ROI.
Yeah,
So
my friend
congratulations.
Stephanie says I can spend more money in my business.
Well, I mean, I don't know, going from 3 million to 20 million, I don't know if you're doing a big enough jump. You could do a lot more.
I should work.
Well, I will say this, you should spend more money on your business. I think, and I'm sure Stephanie might agree, is use it for leverage. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you are at some point, but I think, like you said, going from part-time to full-time, maybe. Yeah. You are an efficient dude. So you've done very well. All
That's
jokes
why
aside,
Alex
you're
is
very
going to take career visioning.
well. You've already hired your first employee. I mean, Matt, real quick, do you know how much you spend on your business and expenses as a percentage of GCI?
As a percentage, I'm probably closer to like $400 a month on marketing, stuff like
Gotcha. Like outside the cost of sales.
yeah,
Just
pretty well.
that's.
Pretty well.
I mean, listen. Before I grew a team, my expenses, because outside of Keller's, was $35 a month for top producer. That was it. Before I hired anybody, so there's nothing wrong with that. $4 a month, but that's not including what you pay for administrative services and leverage. So that would go into your, expenses now, and it's also tax deductible, by the way. So, but that would, but you by leverage, you hope you can do more business. I mean, you also have better quality of life if you, especially like Alex, you just love to work
That's what I'm
12, 15
selling.
hours a
I'm
day.
selling out the part of the quality of life.
Hey, do it while you're young. All right. Anything as far as expenses, I mean, expenses are everything and anything. You buy a computer, especially in real estate, in your own business, it's your business. You can write off your cell phone bill, your some meals, some entertainment. I don't want to get anybody trouble tax wise, but basically, yeah, some clothing. I mean, I don't know how much you want to put that into your budget. For taxes, you could do a lot, but if I buy a phone, or if I say, me or somebody in the team needs a computer and it's going to be in the budget, well, then that's in the budget. So electronics, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you use your phone anyway, you don't want to put in your budget, whatever. But when Olga first came on the team, she was using her cell phone a lot because we have an office phone, and I paid for a cell phone, so that would go on the budget. Any kind of administrative support that goes in your budget. Any questions about anything that you're not sure would go in the budget, or? This is kind of where we cross over to lead generation, but not actually. I mean, this is lead generation, like Zillow, like Rotor.com. Do you pay for any lead generation as far as leads, or do you buy any leads? Let's start there. Any command?
Well, I'm a partner with a website, but I
Gotcha. So not a monthly.
not a month.
It'd be more of like a cost of sales.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, that's fine. But that would be, you'd be like, put that in the cost of sales. So if you take a GCI check of 10,000 and it's a 25%, so 25% you paid to cost of sales to employee leverage or a member of your team, we'll say, like a partner. That's good. What else? So then if you get into like, these are after expenses, but you get into lead generation, like, does anybody on Zoom, do you guys do any kind of, anybody do command social media ads to generate leads? No? Have you at all? Ever? No?
I tried.
No? No, I mean,
I do Facebook organically. I don't do it through.
okay. Does it generate business for you?
I have it, just quality of leads and time efficiency, right? Like that's why
Gotcha.
I'm willing to pay an extra $400 a lead. I don't have to sort through 25 leads.
Right.
So, or I hired somebody to sort through the 25 leads.
Yes.
You know, you save a lot of money that way.
Right.
But you get a lot of crap when it's on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, if you're going to get a high volume of internet leads, to me, in order for somebody to convert internet leads at a high level, the highest level, you got to give them 20 or 30 a month. You know, so you need somebody that's really motivated to pick up that phone and dial the phone 90 times to talk to 30 people routinely and be okay with, you know, a 2% ROI on the on appointments and contracts, talking to 100 leads. So there's nothing wrong with it. It works. But if you don't have somebody that's hungry or needs that, you know, I wouldn't really invest. To me, I wouldn't invest too high in internet leads. Now, what Kim did to have 6 in 6 months, it's
Now your ratio
very easily. Yeah, it's very easily. Hey, Kendrick, you out there? Well, Kendrick's coming back. Anybody else pay or have some sort of expense to generate business, to generate leads that they're willing to share with us? Louis or Dimitri or Harry. I was just telling Harry about the social media command ads.
I have a website.
Yeah.
I have a blog.
Does the website have like a lead capture system? Yeah. Okay.
I'm building.
Are you building like lead capture? You know, Keller Williams, you get a lead capture website, right? One of your. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody knows. I mean, you have to drive traffic to it. So, but all right. Yeah, no,
The amount of control you have is strict.
yeah, and that's why I tell people, they say, should I build a website? Should I drive, you know, I said, if you're going to build a website, you got to drive traffic to it, you know? If you're not driving any traffic to it, what good is it?
Yeah, and it's both, right? Like I generally recommend you learn how to sell a house first and figure out how to have more leads once you know how to handle it.
Right.
There is such thing as skipping many steps.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Yeah, like, you know, me just hiring buyer's agents off a whim. And, you know. What is this? Averages, GCI, cost of sale, profit,
I can't do it.
expenses. Yes, it's very small. I mean, listen, this is a very good sheet. You know, if you could, anybody take a snapshot, if we could send this to them, this is something great to have because it gives you actually, you know, different scenarios. So we can see if we use it as a goal or use it where you're at. I'm not going to go over all because it's a lot. You know, just remember, think of it as a third, and 40%. If you can stick to that, a third, 30% for your expenses, 30% for your cost of sales, and 40% for profit. And really, until you, depending on your income, GCI, until you hire people, you know, your cost of sales should not be 30%. You know, well, I shouldn't say it actually. If you're doing 100,000 GCI, 30% is 30 grand. It's a little less than that. So, you know, but if you're going to start leveraging and hiring people and getting more expenses and buying leads or spending a lot of money in advertising, you should be hiring people. Where therefore your GCI should go up.
In my opinion, I mean, this model was built on areas that didn't have the same price per sale that we did.
Oh no, yeah.
So like these ratios favor us because we should be able to double the ratio.
What do you mean by that?
Like so like, I mean, the model largely is I've read the Red Book at least 5 times.
That's awesome.
So the idea behind the Red Book was built during a time where, I mean, we have internet marketing now, we have social media, which is largely organic. You can now get leads and get exposure at $0, or if not a much lower price per than you would have when they were originally probably putting these ratios together.
Right, okay,
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you're not having the same postage issues. Client events aren't as big of a deal, so you're not spending $3,000 a month on client events at restaurants. Not like, there's definitely more efficient ways in the way things are being sold, as well as we're not selling $180,000 houses here. Like, we have a
Not
much
right now,
higher
yeah.
price point around here.
yes,
Average Linwood house, your average Summers Point house is gonna beat the averages that they're working on.
right,
So if
Funny
you
you say
follow the lead generation, they way should under promise and over deliver based on models.
yes, I agree. And I want to say when they asked to do that, yes, so what's happening? The board on the, when you come to the string on the far right, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent secret combination. Do you know what what the sales price is based off of?
I don't. We have to back
what-
out the math and
I can back it up.
I backed it
Reverse
out
it.
quick, but what I don't know is I don't know what they're using as a percentage for hold or percentage of expenses cost of sales. If
I
they're doing
don't know.
If they're doing like a 40% profit, like I just read, yeah, it might not be too far off, and it's probably not too far off our numbers now, but that's not going to stay. I know it.
Back it out and then times it by 2.5.
It's actually, I don't think it's that far. You can do it if you're getting older. My math isn't as quick in my head like that. So my math I just did, I don't think it's too far off. But 200, I did like $220,000 sales price, which right now that is reality. Year from now, I don't think it is. But I mean, you're exactly right. That model was based on like I think it was $300,000 sales price. However, it's like Alex said, you can make it whatever it is. If you want to net $1 million or gross $1 million, you just got to start with the end in mind, back it out with your sales price, your conversion, and go from there. And I'm going to say it's probably at I did the numbers years ago at a 175 average sales price here. It was somewhere between, I want to say it was 350 and 400 deals a year. So
Yeah.
it's all achievable. It literally is. So you want to make $1 million? The only person stopping you is you. Like, yeah, exactly. Right, Gene? All right. So what are we at here? Well, that's like, you got ADD. That throws you off, huh? Prospect and marketing, captured, referrals, leads, captures, contests. All right, lead generation model. Somebody asked me today on our leadership call, they said, if you were a newer agent, single, doing probably 20 deals, 30 deals a year, what model should you be focusing on the most in order to grow to eventually have a millionaire real estate team or business? And I don't know, I don't know what everybody thinks about that, but to me, the only thing you should be focusing on is lead generation model until you are inundated with leads and you cannot handle anything else without leverage. And then you get to the organization model, step one of the admin, right?
Super conservative. That's based on a 190
Sales price? It is? Okay, good. Then they listen to me. I think Dan Torres Dan Torres is the one that, well, probably has Stephanie to do it, but I had said if we're going to put it up there, make sure
it's technically
realistic.
194.70.
Oh, good. So that's not what that's not what the book model had, but it's adjustable. So I'm glad so that's literally our area.
But you have to do 100 million.
But is that 350 closings based off of 191 sales price?
No, so I did 525. So that that total closings at 350. So now I'll back that back up. I can't.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, the 350 closings. The lead generation model. Let me go back to this. Lost track. Yeah, let me know what it is. I'd like to know because I would like a realistic one on the wall. We can put that up there, but if it's not realistic, you scratch map, man. Scratch map. Lead generation numbers game. Yeah, okay. Lead generation model is on page 185 of the MREA. Has everybody read it? Say yes. Kendrick? Yeah. Backyard, sitting in the sun. Harry, is that you, Mr. Pedolius? Well, me.
No.
I call it the lunch. All right, how about this? Do you know your numbers of like your conversion? both of you guys? Your lead generation, if you know, do you know how many contacts, let me ask you this, how many contacts do you make a day, man? What's your goal for contact? 20 contacts, speak to, and who do you call when you do that? Gotcha, like, so some new leads and some database. Do you know like what your conversion is to call, like, you know, for a contact to an appointment?
Probably about 100 to 1.
100 to 1? But is that including cold calls and Mets? When I say contact to an appointment, so you pick up the phone, you talk to 20 people. Hey, it's Matt, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. How many people do you have to speak to get an appointment? Or do you, should be one for your database sphere Mets and the one that unmet. Yeah.
It's probably closer to.
I'm gonna bet for the people that know Matt Haviland, let's put it this way. For the people that come in and get your pies every year, I'm gonna say that it's gotta be in the area of 20, let's say 20, maybe 30 or less. I mean, and that I think it'd be high. If you just called them one day, and then if you called sign calls, internet leads, people that, you know, don't really know Matt, maybe I got an email from him, right? That might be up there. So let me ask you, I'll ask you one thing further. You read it a while ago, right?
Wow.
Do you know what, or Alex, do you know what the conversion rate should be between from a Met to an appointment? Your Met contacts to a referral or piece of business. 3%? Yeah.
I mean, that's.
If you had to put it in a number, like how many contacts to your Met database to get a referral appointment?
So they shrink the number down, right? Like it's like 15, you make extra contact with that 100 because they move you through the funnel. Right? I think it's at the end of the day, it's 3 and then face to face.
What do you mean? I mean, like
There's a diagram.
when you say diagram, which on the funnel, we mean like a lead to a contact? To a referral? Because it's really the Mets is what I'm saying, the Mets and unmet conversions. Okay, well, this is what I was getting at. If you can bring the diagram, I'd love to see, because I think I know what you're talking about, but I was a little off what I was asking. Maybe I wasn't being clear enough. So your Met database, 1 in 6. Every 6 Met people in your database that you stay in touch with consistently every year, you call, email, text, whatever, maybe you go see. Every 6 people in your database that you contact Met, you got to get one piece of business. Even if your conversion's low, it should be about 1 in 10. You know what it is for unmets? People at home, set your alarm to wake up in 5 minutes, okay?
1 in 50.
1 in 50, exactly. Unmet conversion, you talk to 50 people that do not know you, cold call at all, 1 in 50 will get you a referral or an appointment or some piece of business. And then, you know what the national average is for FSBOs? Not right now, you know what I mean? Not right now, it's probably a lot higher. It's 1 in 15 for your balanced market, 1 in 15 contacts to FSBOs, you will get some sort of appointment. And I get the listing the first time you go there, and then expireds is 1 in, what do you think? Is this supposed to be like that? Look at that.
No, hold on.
Is the whole thing frozen maybe? Is that
No.
why?
Hold on.
Why they're all ignoring you? No.
That's what I was showing you guys.
Oh, there's the funnel. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's got,
Awesome.
it has numbers attached.
No, I knew the numbers you were telling me were correct of what you were thinking about, but that wasn't what I was talking about. This is right. So you get the leads, appointments, then sign agreement contracts. But there's also a thing where you do your advertising, you get a lead, and then by talking to that lead, now they know who Alex is. Now it becomes a contact,
Correct.
And then a contact, not dripping, calling, they become an appointment. Exactly. And then the expired is 1 in 25. Every 25 expireds you contact, you should be getting an appointment. You know, depending on the market, might be more, might be less, depending on your skill level, really, conversion, maybe more. Is there any place that somebody's getting some pieces of business that is unique that we wouldn't know about? There's maybe have some cool stuff. What's that? It's OnlyFans. Harry, what's that? It's 201. Sorry. You guys want to go? You can go.
We want-
That Harry, you there? Awesome.
Yeah, I'm here.
Harry, so you got doing business. This is Harry Adulius, Rosalie's husband. For those of you who don't know, Harry's the man. He's gonna do great in real estate. Harry, what is your wife telling you to do to get new business?
Cold call. Or
Cold call?
contact my inner sphere.
I like that better. I was like, cold call, she's putting you through the ringer.
No,
So does she?
contact my inner sphere.
No, that's good. That's the place to start. So what did she have you do with your sphere? Sorry, I'm gonna pick on you.
Contact my friends, like
Mhm.
my close friends, and Rosalie's past clients, and go through the system that way. And then
Awesome.
once I make all those calls, like I have a list, and once I make all those calls, then go from there out.
Awesome. Is she having you put them in Command or a CRM?
I've started to put them in my command. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. And how about you? She talked about putting them on some sort of drip campaign?
I have discussed that. I'm just Sean, I'm trying to learn the program.
Your follow-up system.
Yeah. So once I get the program down and I understand command completely, where I can do it on my own and not inconvenience people, then yeah, I'm going to start the drip campaigns and getting I already started with mailers. So Christine and I did mailers yesterday, and I'm going to put mailers out this week, but I'm going to keep them local around my hometown. And so that's my start.
Fantastic, man. Awesome. He was excited about your calls. The command, I'm not a tech guy. I can't stand tech, but I know it enough. So the command is the simple part of it is putting name, number, email, and putting them up on a follow-up call. So if you could do that, do it. Because what it is, when you talk to them, you put them in your database, put them on a couple of follow-up calls, because everybody knows there's two parts of lead generation, right? Lead generation and then lead what?
Follow up.
Awesome. Lead follow-up. If you generate leads and you have no lead follow-up, some of the calls you might not even want to make. FSBOs, like I was just reading in lead generation page 187, they suggest, people that you just met, you put them on an 8x8. If you know what an 8x8 is, 8 touches in 8 weeks, email, call, text, some sort of touch, 1 week, and put them on a 33 touch. That is the MET database, 1 in 6 or 2 out of 12. So Harry, like I was saying, if you just put name, the number, the email, and then a follow-up call, when you can get with Rosalie or Ron or somebody, or they can help with the technology, you can actually mass update all your contacts with a drip campaign. But at least you'll know, you have a note in there you called them, and then a note for you to recall them at a certain time. Trivia questions. Anybody know how many MET people, according to the Red Book, you have to have in your database and following up with on a yearly basis, like a 33 touch or now a 36 touch? How many METs in your database to net $1 million according to this Red Book at like a $300,000 sales price? Any idea? Because I don't know if anybody knows, but this book right here actually is like the roadmap to making $1 million. And half of us probably haven't read it. That's why I tell people, start on page 138, read one model, because the economic model literally gives you a roadmap how to make $1 million. I'll let you know. It's 1,920 people. Now, like Alex awesomely figured out the numbers, that sales price is based on, that model is based on a price that we don't have. However, I think he's probably about right. 500, 450, 500 units closed with our average sales price on the mainland, and you make $1 million. If you don't want to make $1 million, make $500,000. But this can literally tell you down to the amount of contacts and calls excuse me, you have to make to net whatever you want to make. Any questions on the lead generation model? I don't want to hold you guys up too long. It's 2:06. I'm going to start wrapping up.
With me next, Sean.
What's that? I'm with you next. Okay. I have an appointment apparently.
Sean, I could
Yeah, a
listen
couple
to
minutes
this
late.
all day.
Sorry, Harry. Go ahead.
I said I could listen to this all day. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I kind of just mumble or just just rattle on. If
Uh,
they want.
the the information you're supplying with
Harry,
us.
you already
today,
got hired. No need to kiss up.
I know, I hear you.
Flamer, let me ask you, Flamer, what do you focus on your lead generation? How is most of your leads and business coming in? Would you mind sharing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm quite different. I'm super niche in my approach to real estate. So I really focus just on investors and commercial real estate. So a lot of my leads, if they're not coming from my client, they're coming from other realtors who don't know how to handle a commercial deal, or it's outside the area, or what have you. People I've networked with and met over time.
A lot of referrals from other agents.
Correct. Yep.
Do you do any other kind of lead generating for investors besides for other agents?
I'm pretty active on social media, Facebook specifically. I'm trying to build my Instagram game up, but I'm on a lot of the groups, so I do a deep dive. I'm probably on a dozen different real estate investor groups on Facebook, and I'll usually post, but a lot of comment on other people's info.
Awesome. Kendrick, you there? Kendrick, I'm not feeling the love today, man.
Maybe
all right.
he's at work.
He might be,
Is that
yeah, he
the-
might be just listening. I just want to see what some other people are focused on. I mean, if anybody, Harry, Juan, can
Yes.
you hear me? Awesome. Let me ask you, I mean, now that you're getting going, where are you focusing on to get your business from? Where do you
Well,
want
most of my business had come from my, I work for the casinos. So
Okay.
I get to talk to a lot of the co-workers all day. So most of my business came from referrals, but I'm thinking about getting Red X and start making some calls.
Fantastic. So first start, so most of it right now is your focus on referrals and Sphere, people that know you in the casino, right?
Yes.
And have you put them or are you putting them into a CRM like Command?
The ones that I don't have already on my phone, yes. I used to just ask them for the name and phone number. Now I ask them for phone number, email, address, and then put into the command.
Okay. Have you been putting them, did you say you're putting them in a different CRM on your phone or are you just putting them into your phone, you said?
No, I'm saying that the people that I have already on my phone as a contact. Now
Oh, okay.
I put it on my phone as a contact, and then I also put it into command.
So you do put them into Command or you have your phone connected to Command?
I put it myself manually into command.
Command does connect to your phone.
Yeah, it does.
It does. You can do that still, right?
Through Google integrate.
Right, okay. So if you have Google contacts on your phone,
Correct.
it'll integrate to
So
Command.
my phone, I run strictly a Google contact.
Sorry, Juan.
Out of my iPhone. Run an Apple contact. Because it will sync with Command as long as you have an email address linked to.
Gotcha. Okay. The reason I was sorry to interrupt you, Juan. I was asking just make sure I was right. Because your phone, if you're not putting them into Command as consistently, there's a way, and I would go to a class before doing it. Just there's a way to sync some of your contacts with your Command. But how many people do you have in your Command? For your
About 150.
That's good. Okay, 150 people that you've met that know you.
Yeah, I worked with them for years.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Now, do you have them on some sort of campaign, drip campaign, or anything like that?
I don't know how to set up the campaign on command.
Okay.
So
That's
I want
okay.
to
A lot of people.
have somebody teach me to do it, and then I start doing it.
Do you have them on a follow-up call of some sort? You know, a quarterly call if they want to buy or sell soon, a weekly call?
I don't do it because I see them every day. So
Okay,
I
yeah.
still work at the casino, so I see them every
Right,
night.
right. No, I love it. I did the same thing. I worked at Tropicana, and as I was getting to real estate, and 80% of my business came from Tropicana. When I figured out how many people work at your casino, that'll be 2,000 to 4,000.
I work for the Bulgarians, so that'll be about on my department alone. That's almost 1,000 people.
Yeah, so it's gotta be 4,000 or something. But what I was about to get to is when you talk to 150 people, you can remember that, right? When you talk to 500 people, after a while, you can't remember everyone.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a little tougher.
Would get in the habit of putting in a smart plan to follow up with them. And this is what I do. So I've sold people that I see personally all the time. Still have a smart plan. But when the task comes up to be done, I'll say, was with Greg on Tuesday, whatever.
Right.
Just to get in the habit. Because you'll never know when you stop seeing them. So they might stop working at where you're working and they might move or whatever. And then the next month that you're supposed to be doing the follow-up, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot, Greg left. Let me just give him a call anyway.
Right.
So like my family members are on follow-up.
Awesome.
And I'm like, that's how I remember to call my grandma. Because I have her on a follow-up plan. I'm like, oh, I haven't called grandma. It's time to call grandma.
It's not just for sales. That's
Yeah,
good.
no,
I love it.
I had to learn because I was so bad at it at the beginning. I had to turn everything into a task list inside my CR,
Right.
including calling my grandma.
That's actually phenomenal because who used to make a joke. They said, if you, Oscar or Juan, actually, whoever, actually, there you go. If your husband only sent you a card, one card for all holidays, one time a year, would that be okay? Would you still be married?
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, you're very nice. Right there. My point is, by you doing the same. Yeah, I was like, wow, you're pretty easy. Man. I used to say, well, if you didn't do that, if you said one card a year, you wouldn't have a wife. I said, wow, your husband. But by doing your grandma, you're building relationships, right? So you're doing it to make sure you call your grandma. But if you don't stay in touch with your clients, the same way.
Well, here's my trick.
That's you got to call them as much as grandma, but
Despite
you have to stay in touch.
Despite how outgoing I might seem to be, I get anxious socially when I have to make calls, and I don't do calls also phenomenally well. So what I used to do is my first call in the morning was a warm person that like I used to talk to, a friend or grandma or whoever. So my first call out of my database every day is I would pick the first call was always the person I knew the best.
Good.
That I would probably get on the phone with and talk to.
Gotcha.
And that would at least just get me calling to start.
Positive, confident, a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, stop calling me, goddamn it.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's a good
Because
idea,
I was
actually.
super discouraged at the beginning.
Well, no, that's.
Learning how to get on the
Well, I
phone.
mean, listen, anybody that tells you they like to lead generate, I think they're
They're
lying.
so full.
Exactly.
Or they're narcissists.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the one thing I'll say though is if you build a database of Mets and you have enough to focus all your business around Mets, it actually isn't as bad because you're not calling just to sell people. You're calling them to build a relationship. Like Matt Haviland's, the Haviland Group's slogan is always, we're building clients for life. So they're, like I said, they give away pies, they give away coupons. These people know Haviland's. They know his kids, they have his kids, and he knows those, traits about them. You know what I mean? So you're building friends. You know what I mean? If you build 1,920 friends, it's actually pretty cool.
When I call past clients, I don't ask them for business. And that's wrong.
Right.
But I
No,
don't.
what
I
you
call
shouldn't
and
ask
about
every
the
time.
kids, ask about the family, ask
Exactly.
about everything, and I get off the phone and I get confused why I call. At
Right.
the beginning, you're like, why you call?
Why'd you say it was wrong?
Because you should
Ask.
because if you don't ask, you can't be mad if they don't give it to
Yeah, of course.
you.
But maybe, how often do you call? How often do you call your Met database that isn't ready to buy or sell? Just staying in
Depending
touch.
on the person, at least once a month.
Oh wow, okay, that's a lot. Okay, so I mean,
So I call past clients quarterly.
that's what I was gonna say. Maybe
So
quarterly.
if there's
every 2 months.
a warm-ish lead, if they're like a warm dead body, as I refer to it, I'll
Is,
contact them once a
Is there
month.
another class or something coming up this? Okay, so make sure.
No,
I haven't been there.
I have to go.
You have to go. You have to go. Go. Don't wait for me. Go.
No.
No,
Oh, that's your computer. Okay. All right. I apologize. Sorry. All right. Real quick, Juan, and anybody that's putting something in their database, I'm gonna hold Christina up.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's well, Jean's waiting for me upstairs apparently, so I apologize to her again. Make sure that you're doing some sort of, if nothing else, campaigns are so important. Drip campaigns, staying in touch. And Alex made a good point. Even if you're not asking for business from your sphere every single time you call, it's about the mind share. So when you call these people, hey, I got a real estate. Obviously, my wife's been real estate for years and years. I'll stay in touch with you. Mind, great. Call them, put them on a routine call. if they don't want to buy or sell, either once every quarter, once every 2 months. And I usually tell people if they're an A buyer and seller, you want to put them on a repeat call for every couple of days. If they're a B buyer and seller, I'm put them on a call like every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. And then if they're a C, to me, that's pretty much, normal contact, and put them in a follow-up call every 2 to 3 months. But you have to put on some sort of drip campaign. You can't call everyone every day. So, but the key of it is they get an email from you every 2 weeks. They get a text from you maybe every 2 months. They get a call from you at minimum every 3 months. They now know if they need to buy or sell real estate, Harry or Alex or Christine or Flamer or whoever, they think of you. That's it. Mind share. If anybody ever tells you, don't email them with the blast emails because the emails are junk and they're going to delete them and they don't want you to spam them. The statistic, I think it's 20 or 25% will unsubscribe. The rest will not. They'll just delete it. And nothing else. If they don't open your email, all you want them to see is your name. Every 2 weeks, they see Alex. Every 2 weeks, they see Merv. I don't care if they delete it or not. That's it. Lead follow-up is equally as important to lead generation. You're not going to follow up, don't generate the lead. Guys, you're the best. Love you.
John,
See you guys.
that's almost like subliminal messaging.
Say
Where
that again?
you do it so many times, and then when somebody sees you or they're thinking about real estate, it's like boom, they automatically think about you.
They think of you.
Yes.
Great. Like
Good
yeah,
messaging.
Rosalie's a perfect example. How long has she been mailing your area or whatever area she constantly mails? 20 some years.
Yeah.
Some of those people, I'm sure, she has emails and phone numbers. So if she's mailing them consistently, like she does, and then she calls them and emails them, there's nobody else they think of, just her.
I'll
He's
give you a
captured their
perfect
mind share.
example. When she first got into this business, she established a relationship with somebody through cards and stuff like that. And even though at that time she didn't sell anything to that person, 15 years later, they were like, I remember you. And they called her.
That's something.
So, it's like when you get your name out there like that and you keep feeding that. And Howard Winters is a prime example
Yes.
of that way or that method. And it really works. So for Juan to get into that method, you got to do it. Learn command. I'm in the same situation he is. And so it works. It really does. And
It does.
establishing a
I appreciate you
relationship
saying that.
because you're establishing trust with your future client. That's the main thing is the trust building.
I appreciate you saying that, Harry. That's exactly right. Do it. Everybody needs to do it. Get the mind share of the people. I apologize, cut you guys off. I didn't know Christine has to go somewhere. As much as I told her to leave, she can't leave without her computer. So we got to go. Please, if you ever have any questions about the models, call me. If not, get a red book. There's one upstairs. You can have it. Or Stephanie has a digital version. Start on page 138. If nothing else, read 138 every model or one model at a time. If you can, read the whole book. And read it multiple times. It'll help you on anything you do. Guys, have a great day.